There are 66 books and 721 pages, I believe, to the end of Revelation in my King James Bible. But I want to draw your attention to the first page. I feel like there is a critical lesson for all people that must be understood on this first page. And I'm not going to read it off to you verbatim, but I think that we all know the first, Genesis chapter 1 is about what God created physically, the world, the planet. When we get to 126, he makes man. Now he's made all the creatures. He's made the fields and the forest. He's made the oceans and the fish and the birds. But this is where he gets in here and says, I have a purpose for both the creation of earth that I've made and the creation of man that I've made. And he tells us to subdue the fish and the birds and all the slithering creatures, all the cattle, all the livestock. He tells us that the herbs of the field are all for us. He tells us that the trees that bear fruits and nuts and seeds, these are all for us. He says for us to be fruitful and multiply it, replenish the earth and subdue it, have dominion over all of it. And he saw that it was very good, not just good. When you put them all together, the last, Genesis 1:31, the last verse, he says, when I put all these things together that I've created, it's not just good. It wasn't just so. It wasn't just good. It is very good. Well, if you don't live in God's grace, nothing is very good. So if you wake up today and your bank account isn't at zero and your health isn't, terminal, but you aren't happy inside, please consider. Please consider. God didn't design you to go work in a high-rise or a warehouse or some cubicle with fluorescent lighting and then ride a subway to the gym so you could get some exercise. He didn't design you for that. If he did, it would be here. It would be here. He designed you for this. And if you're miserable and you're looking to break out of that life, I urge you to consider subduing a forest and a field. I urge you to consider subduing a herd of livestock. He gave us the fish, the flocks, the fields, and the forests, all of them, with a command to steward these things, to multiply them, to make them better in his honor. When you obey the Lord, he pours out his mercies, his grace, and his blessings on you. And the burdens of a normal life just sort of melt away into peace, fulfillment, and satisfaction. The peace that passes all understanding. When you've got no money and you're not even worried. What would you pay to feel that way?